You looking good. I haven't seen you in a few years.
Been a minute, brother. I've been following you though,
Yeah?
checking you out. Yep.
Good.
Good to see you still rocking and rolling.
24 years we've been at it.
Yes,
You're one
sir.
of the Lone Rangers that's been probably at it just as long as me, if not longer. How long you been in the game?
88. So
Wow.
really in the NPC IFBB game since 91. So I
Wow.
started lifting, like casually in 88. And then I did my first show in 89 and then kind of got hooked. And then I joined NPC in 91. So been rocking with that since.
What got you into bodybuilding and essentially like your first show? Like was there a time that you could tell us, some moment that happened? Give us some insight on that.
Yeah, everybody has that moment, that life-changing moment, and it's always usually for a man, it's always a woman involved.
Mm.
My ex-wife, my oldest son's mom, she had a friend who was a bodybuilder, and I had never seen a real bodybuilder other than Arnold and them on TV, Wide
Mm.
World of Sport. And then when I saw a regular guy, when I call him a regular guy, I'm saying just somebody that wasn't famous, looking like that, it's something in my head just clicked, and I joined the gym the next day, and the rest is history.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What was the first show that you won?
First show I won, as far as amateur or just period.
Yeah, just period. Like when you first started, give us some insight. Did you place
So
first couple shows or
the first show I did, there was two shows in one day. I got second at one show, which was the local show, and then there was a regional show late, the same day. I got fourth in that, and not that I really felt that I was competitive, but I knew that if I just started like a couple of months ago, that I could actually do something with it.
Mm.
And then I won the junior nationals after winning all the local shows here in Atlanta. I won the junior nationals in '93, the heavyweight, and I lost the overall by 1 point. And then I realized I could probably be a pro. And
Mm.
then did the nationals that year. I should have probably turned pro around '96,
Mm.
but I tore my pec in '95, and I took like 4 years off.
Mm.
Came back in 2001, got eighth place,
Mm.
and realized that I really didn't miss nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
my last show, I got sixth place. So I'm like, well, that's only two places different. So then the following year, I just made a commitment. I think I started my prep in May of that year, and I ended up winning the overall nationals in 2002.
Wow, wow. I
Yep.
remember when you were with VPX back in the day, and I remember your presence being at the show because you were just like probably, in my opinion, in person, like the most your physique was like on a whole nother level. Like it was like when I saw you for the first time and you were at the VPX booth and everything, like you were just peaking. It was unbelievable. What was like back then, like when you got into that type of condition, what was that like? Like give us some insight on that, like to when you were at your prime.
In my prime, I think I was, like before '06, I was doing what typical bodybuilders do. Oh, actually, before '05. Then '05, I connected with this guy named Anthony Aponte. He lives in Seattle. I think he lives in Vegas now, but anyway, he's the one that taught me how to really eat. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like really eat to be 300 pounds. So he took me from 285 to about 315 in a matter of 6 weeks, something like it was insane because he was feeding me like every two and a half, every 3 hours, like
Mm.
all day from 4:30 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night, and my body just really responded. So I think I'm a hard gainer, but a hyper responder. So in other
Mm.
words, my metabolism is so fast that if I just eat typical, then I'll kind of like get a certain spot and level off. But like I
Mm.
say, he taught me how to really eat and really to push my physique,
Mm.
and I ended up at like 315, like leaner than I was at 285. It was pretty
Wow.
crazy. Even Ronnie Coleman was tripping when he saw me
Yeah, no,
after
I'm
seeing me at
saying like,
285
bro,
all the time.
I've seen a lot of bodybuilders in person, and you were 100% the most like I was like, wow, like wow. Like when I saw you at the VPX booth, then back then I was like, this is like this guy's got like serious. So, nowadays, obviously, things are a little bit different, but I mean, when you look back, has and look back then till now, what's really changed for you? I know you're kind of retired now, what's in terms of your training? Are you still training heavily? Are you know has are you do you miss the sport? Do you miss bodybuilding?
I'm always going to be a fan. I started as a fan, and I'm still a fan. I took off when I retired in 16. And, I had some health issues, not the typical health issues. I think my bodily functions were fine, but I had some parasites and stuff like that. And so I wanted to address that. So I spent, I don't know, 4 or 5 years addressing that. And then when you go without training, it's like I didn't realize it at first. It took me a while. I thought I was depressed, but I really wasn't. I just wasn't doing anything that my body craved. So I started back lifting seriously again last August. So this week or last week was a year of me being consistent in the gym. And I
Mm,
went from doing, circuit training and walking around the park to, trying to do splits and whatnot. And then like 3 months ago, 4 months ago, I started doing mostly free weights again. And I hadn't done free weights, like I say, since I retired in 16.
mm,
I was just doing machines. And so now that I'm doing free weights again, of course, I can't really go super heavy, but it's just being able to tie in the central nervous system along with the muscles and all the stabilizers. So my physique is actually coming back. I'm about 240,
mm,
fairly lean. I'm not dieting at all. I eat probably 3 meals a day, including one shake, so one shake and 2 meals.
mm,
And I don't want to eat any more than that because when I ate 4 meals a day for a while and I got up in the 250s and I really don't want to. I don't want to. There's that size doesn't serve me. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
I'll be 59 next Saturday, and I just want to be healthy. I just want to be fit and healthy, look good in my clothes. Well, look good
mm,
out of my clothes too, but I'm
mm,
not on stage anymore. So I was tempted to do the Masters Olympia, but I didn't want to disrespect the sport and just get up on stage. You know what I'm saying? I said, let me bodybuild for a year before I even started thinking about doing that. So
mm,
now that it's been a year, I realized I probably could have done pretty well after seeing the result. And
mm,
so I'm just gonna just look the part, be the part. Um, I'm never gonna not train again. I learned my lesson from that, especially because when you get older, your body starts to fall apart. So if you don't use it, you will lose it for sure, especially when you get past 50. And
mm.
so I'm just trying to kind of be a beacon of light to people who think it's too late or whatever. I think if you pace yourself and train according to your body's ability to recover, you'll be fine. And that's what I'm doing.
Give us some. I mean, obviously, you've had a lot of injuries. Give us some insight on some of the, game changer hacks or things that have really helped you with recovery.
Cool. I've only had one injury, and that was the pec tear. So
Okay.
I haven't really been injured, in any way other than that. Sore elbows, sore knees, which is really from training.
Mm,
Every once in a while, like I say, when I wasn't training, my lower back was bothering me, and it's because I wasn't doing abs. So I
mm,
do 2 sets of abs every single day. That keeps your lower back in check, but it also keeps your stomach in check too. And I usually only do reverse crunches. I don't do a
mm,
lot of other ab exercise because your lower abs, and I get teased all the time. People saying there's no lower or upper abs, but that's because they're not to my level. So I know how to separate the body parts,
mm,
and isolate any body part that I want. So I focus on having lower abs because that's kind of like the center of the universe. I try to take days off where when I was competing, I basically only took a day off if I had something to do or my body said not today.
mm,
So I almost trained 7 days a week, a couple of times a day, plus cardio.
mm,
So in other words, train within your means or your ability to recover.
mm,
That's most important. Making sure you're getting enough protein to help facilitate muscle growth. Because once you get past 40, it's maintaining muscle should be your main goal. You might be able to put on a pound or two muscle or two, but really, if you stay the same and as you get older, then you're doing good.
mm. When, right now you're 240, so what's your protein intake look like a day? Are you doing 240 grams of protein, and what's the carb fat ratio look like?
So I'm guessing I'm between 150 and maybe 300 on a good day, but it's probably closer to 250 a day, 200 to 250 a day.
Mm,
I do a shake in the morning with a little oatmeal, unless I'm not doing carbs that day. I usually so if I do my shake and then for breakfast I have like 4 eggs. I like beef bacon and chicken sausage, so I'll have maybe 2 or 3 of those, 4 eggs, and then either oatmeal or avocado toast.
mm,
And then later on that day I eat usually. Today I had chicken, but I don't normally eat chicken. I
Mm,
usually I buy bison and wagyu
mm,
ground, and I mix them together. And so I
mm.
have 10 to 12 ounces of that and a big salad. And like I say, if I'm having carbs, I'll do either sweet potato, white potato, or rice. And then if I'm not doing carbs, I just have the big salad.
Two questions. Number one, when you eat the bread, what type of bread are you having? And
So
number,
I only eat sourdough bread.
mm,
I buy real sourdough. Real sourdough has about 4 or 5 ingredients, depending on where you get it from. Unless you get the kind that has the bagel seasoning on it, which I do sometimes. But usually, if you get a real sourdough bread, it has like 4 or 5 ingredients. It's actually fairly good for you when it comes, as far as bread is concerned. It digests completely. I don't get any bloat or anything like that. So, I treat myself to that 3 or 4 times a week.
mm. And then what
Probably
about
times,
the
2 to 3 times a week. Yeah.
when you're doing the bison and the wagyu mix? Are you straining the bison? Like, what's that
So
look
it,
like?
they come ground in 1 pound
Mm,
slabs or whatever. And so
mm,
what I do is I put them in a bowl together
mm,
and chop it up, and then I season it, and then I put it in the food processor,
mm,
and then that for about 1 minute, and then it blends it all together to make it even,
mm,
and it turns out perfect. It's like the perfect combination of number one, it tastes amazing because bison is a real high quality meat, and
mm,
the wagyu that I get is from Tasmania, so it's
mm,
super super clean as well. It's not American wagyu; it's
mm,
Australian wagyu, and
mm,
it's just really good. My wife goes crazy, and what I do is I cook the burger medium. I put some avocado. Sometimes I put an egg on there, and then I put some kind of cheese, whether it be pepper jack or cheddar or whatever. And it's better than a restaurant. It's really good.
mm. Are you doing any sort of fasting, or what do you think about that?
So yeah, I do basically intermittent fasting. Well, if you're only eating 2 meals a day, sometimes three. So I got about a 16-hour window from when I eat my last meal to my first, 12 to 16, depending on, like I said, if I'm training early or whatever. But when I was doing my health journey and cleansing, I was fasting quite a bit, up to
Mm,
7 days, just doing bone broth and fermented foods.
mm,
Now I probably do maybe a 24 to 36-hour fast
mm.
once every 6 months or something like that. I probably need to do more now, but that's what I kind of stay in a fasted state as far as being intermittent, doing the 8 hour window, sometimes the 12-hour window. Like I said, it just depends on how hard I'm training and what I'm training.
When you were doing this 7 day fast, like how was that? Like, would you recommend that?
So, I don't recommend water fast or dry fast. First, I tell people if you're going to fast, and fasting to me means you're abstaining from things that you normally would do. In other words, you're not submitting to the flesh.
Mm,
So I use bone broth, chicken bone broth or beef. I use fermented foods. Number one, both of those are really low calorie but super high nutrition. And so that means your body's getting nutrition and it won't go into starvation mode. It'll actually go into autophagy and start eliminating toxins and stuff like that. But you don't feel hungry. You don't feel weak because you're actually getting some nourishment. I do that for 3 to 7 days, and I drink herb tea to flush out the toxins. As the bad bugs start dying, you want to make sure that your detox pathways are open. So I drink the herb tea to make sure everything's flowing like it's supposed to, and
mm,
I feel really good. Now, when I did the hardcore 7 day, that was that was almost spiritual. It was just a really amazing experience. I lost 22 pounds that week, and it was all garbage. It was all water and toxins.
wow.
We did a lot of. This was when my wife was going through her cancer therapy, so we did a lot of therapies. We did hyperbaric chamber, infrared sauna, PEMF. We did auto hemotherapy, and then at the end we did this process called EBU, and it's basically a ozone dialysis. It cleaned like 4 pints of my blood, 3.5, 4 pints of my blood,
Mm,
and then a couple of weeks later, I went and did this series of tests with this doctor in Michigan, and at the end, he does your biological age, and he he told me
mm,
my biological age was 20, and at the time I was 54. So I thought
wow.
that was pretty amazing, and it was
That is.
because of all the things that I did. So it
Mm.
definitely does work. Definitely
Are
does.
you are you still maintaining any of those things like the hyperbaric, or and if so, what's your go-to? Like, what would you recommend for, people that are, looking to really take it to the next level, they want to help with their recovery, what's your suggestion?
Hyperbaric is awesome. Whatever is convenient for you. I bought all the equipment. I don't have a hyperbaric chamber, but I have an ozone generator. I have a infrared sauna. I had a steam sauna, but I gave it away. And so those are the type of things that I could do on a regular basis whenever I want. But I was doing ozone colonics, but it's very hard to find somebody to do that. So
Mm,
I just stick with regular hydrogen peroxide enemas. I do that, not often, but you can almost feel when you need to do it. You know what I'm saying? And so,
mm,
a lot of people say that your liver and kidney can detoxify you, and in a natural native state, yes. But in this environment where we're being bombarded with, all kinds of stuff, heavy metals, plastics, all that type of stuff, you need to give your body a little assistance. I just bought a series of parasite cleanse, so I'm gonna do that here shortly. So I'll
mm,
probably do like a 72 hour um, bone broth and fermented foods with my parasite cleanse.
mm.
I'll probably do
And
that coming up.
so with this parasite cleanse, is there something that you're feeling, or how are you, like what's registering to go do a parasite cleanse?
Well, all mammals have parasites. So you either have a little bit or a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Every person has some kind of, because a parasite is your microbiome. It's all the things that you come in contact while you're here on this earth. And
Mm,
so some of the things are good for you, some of the things are harmful. Your immune system takes care of most of them. But like I say, because of our environment, because of our food supply, because like if you go to the beach, if you fly on an airplane, go to the water park, things like that, you're going to be exposed to a higher level of toxins and bugs than you normally do. So, under those circumstances, I always recommend doing some kind of cleanse of some sort. And like I say, even if it's just bone broth and fermented foods, just by not taking in your regular food, your body will process out anything that's in your system that's not supposed to be. So, it's really more of a maintenance thing for me.
mm,
Sometimes I do ivermectin and fenbendazole. Do that for 3 or 4 weeks. Take a week off. So I have several different things that I go to. I don't do them all at once. I just keep them. I go here, do that, go here, do that, and just keep rotating it.
mm. Tell
So
us
I
a
can
little.
always feel when I'm getting sluggish, tired. If I'm overloaded, if I go on a sugar binge, some days, I like baking, so I
Mm,
might make a batch of cookies.
mm,
So that's a lot of sugar. So I usually eat, half a dozen maybe. You know what I'm saying? I eat, I make the giant ones too. So
yeah.
I go through a lot, and then after I do that, I kind of go on a sugar fast where I don't have sugar for a little while, just to kind of let that clear out of my system. So.
So give us some insight on what you're doing now. Are you training people? Are you like what's a day in the life look like right now for the X-Men?
So I'm coaching a couple of people. One of my workout partner, her name is Tammy Alexander. She's getting ready for the Joe Weider
Mm,
natural, all natural. So that's the one that got me back into training. Like last August, she came to me and asked me to coach her.
mm,
And when you're training for show, it's different from just working out. So I told her, I was like, in order for me to give you what I feel you need, I'm going to work out with you. So that's how I started. In other words, I didn't have the drive to do it for myself, but I'm
mm,
always looking to help others. So I said, I'm gonna show up for you every day. And then I kind of fell in love with it again. So
mm,
I'm coaching a few people. We're starting a professional league for kids, really from eight to adults,
mm,
professional football league. So
mm,
I'm one of the owners of the team. So we're putting all that together to launch in 2026.
mm,
I'm got a friend of mine who's a marketing genius.
mm,
So we're getting ready to start just marketing a lot of things that we love. I'm creating a supplement line for us to implement into our process. I'm basically gonna do like the whole process, teach people how to detox, teach people how to rejuvenate themselves with nutrition, and then teach people how to achieve whatever physical appearance or goal that they have as well. So it's kind of going to be like a community, and it'll be like a series. Like I walk them from the detox part, where you reset your mindset and change your lifestyle, all the way to the finish line.
mm.
So that's
What
kind of what I'm doing.
what do you do now for your mindset? Like someone like yourself, are you listening to podcasts? Are you reading? Can you give us some insight on that?
Yeah, I have my own podcast called the Alpha Hour. We've been on a break for a month or so. We're about to crank it back up on tomorrow, actually.
Mm,
And so I meditate a lot. I learned how to meditate. I tried to meditate back in the day when I was big, and I did something to my diaphragm. So every time I would take a deep breath, it made this weird noise. So I
Mm,
could never focus and concentrate enough to meditate. And it does, now that I'm smaller, it doesn't happen anymore. So I learned how to really quiet my mind and meditate. I pray a lot. I talk to God a lot. And if I want something, which I'm so grateful that I don't like really want anything, you know what I'm saying? Like, but now that I have this league and these other people to look after, it kind of drives me a little bit to show up every day for them. And so
mm,
that's kind of what I do. I kind of channel all that information that I gathered over the years, building my own body and doing all those things to myself. And now I kind of like help other people achieve their goals. And so that's kind of what I do. That's kind of keeps me grounded, other than my wife keeping me in check, keeping me grounded.
mm.
That's kind of what I do.
So, for someone who's not really familiar with meditation, can you give us like a quick tip on how to get into the meditation, and maybe is there a good time of the day that you suggest, and anything at all to kind of for people out there who are considering starting meditation?
Yeah, a lot of people have to get up and go to work. So I work from my phone, I work from home. So what I do is when I wake up and I know I'm not going to go back to sleep,
Mm,
that's so it's probably about 15 to 20 minutes before I actually get out of bed is when
mm,
I really lay there and quiet my mind.
okay.
And and sometimes I use like the beats or the music in the background, and then sometimes it's just silence. And
Mm,
usually the music will be on, and then I cut it to silence. And like I say, because I've been practicing, I end up quieting my mind enough. And then I always say my morning prayer, thanking God for everything and watching, all the things that I pray for. And that's it. So I don't really like sit somewhere and hold my fingers together and and all that. It's
mm.
more of before I start my day, I wake up in an attitude of gratitude. I quiet my mind. I talk to God. Um, and then I get up and start my day. So,
Mm.
so that's just really simple. I don't, it's not complicated at all. A lot of people say I can't quiet my mind and all that. A lot of people don't give themselves enough time. And once you get used to it, it can. But a lot of times it might take you 20, 30 minutes to let in other words, don't try to fight the thoughts. They come in your head, just let them come and go. And
Mm.
then eventually you will empty out and be able to do it.
Nice.
I never thought I could do it. And so I know if I could do it, anybody can do it.
What's your, say, your nutrition performance stack kind of look like these days in terms of like, I know you said you're taking some protein. Are you taking any multivitamins? Are you,
So I
dabbling in?
do
Yeah, give
I
us some.
do I do bison organs, beef and bison organs. I was doing beef, like uh liver, kidneys, all that type of stuff. Now I found a company, it's called Human Nature. They do bison organs. So, a bison and a cow. So you got a cow who meanders and grazes on grass. Bisons graze on grass, but they're big muscular animals. They run a lot. So I just feel like that's going to be a higher level of nutrition because I'm trying to perform. So that's why I
Mm,
chose that. And I make sure I'm really on my minerals, shilajit, fulvic humic acid, stuff like that. I try to make sure my minerals are on point. I've been putting water in lemon in almost all my water lately. Just trying to stay alkaline, trying to stay hydrated,
mm,
and just trying to be healthy. Like when I choose the foods, I go to the grocery store I eat arugula and watercress salad every day instead of lettuce. So I
mm,
go to the store for that. I go to the store for my eggs, my berries and stuff like that. But everything else I order online directly from the farm.
mm,
But just try to make sure the quality is high, the nutrition is high, so I don't have to eat a whole lot of food because I don't want to eat multi meals. The older you get, like if somebody in their 50s trying to eat 6 meals a day, you're going to set yourself up for diabetes. Not if even if it's clean, because it's just that many times that your body's releasing insulin. So I try to keep my insulin in check, so I keep my blood sugar in check, and that kind of just it slows the aging process down a lot.
mm. Would you describe your diet as like a Mediterranean diet? Like, what are you eating? Just some meals
Just
where it's just fat,
whole, just
some
really.
meals. Yeah.
So it's I would say protein and fats and veggies with carbs according to what I'm doing. So if I'm training legs, I'm gonna have oatmeal for breakfast, and then I'm gonna have sweet potato or white potato or rice with my next meal.
Mm,
If I'm training just biceps or shoulders, I may have one carb meal and then one not carb meal. So something like that. It's not really. It's more of my philosophy because I know my boundaries. So I
mm.
just kind of stay within my boundaries, and then probably I don't know, once every 6 weeks, I'll, like I said, bake a batch of cookies or eat a pizza, something just to break the monotony and then go right back to what I normally do.
Mm. You know, you have all this insight, very specific science-based insight. Is there a place that you're getting this information? Like, do you have a favorite book, site? Like, where do you absorb all these ideas of, I'm gonna do this type of, parasite? Like, where does this all come from?
Well, mostly from experience. When I was competing, I turned pro at 36. So that's retirement age for most athletes. And I probably wasn't super healthy. I was young, so I didn't, So as I started progressing, I realized that I have to be healthier than these guys because they're so much younger than me. So
Mm,
that's what led me down the path of learning about cellular health, how the cells actually work. Your a healthy cell is able to take in nutrients very readily and excrete toxins very readily. So I learned that probably in, I don't know, 2000, 2001. And
mm,
so I just focus on cellular health. You need minerals, you need hydration, you need rest, you need quality whole foods. Again, I love pizza and cookies just like everybody else, but if I have that, I make it myself and I use organic flour and all, just high quality ingredients so I can enjoy my life, but still not pollute myself as much. I don't do fast food. I may have Chick-fil-A biscuit every once in a while because they just taste good. But
mm,
it's just, it's like I do stuff like that to break the monotony.
mm,
I'll have one and then I don't have to have one for 2 or 3 months. You know what I'm saying? So
mm.
I'm not a nutritional prude or nothing like that. I love delicious food, but I love to cook as well. So I'd say 95% of everything I eat, I make it myself. So
Mm, mm.
yeah.
Give us some insight in terms of like, sleep and napping. Like I recently read about Cristiano Ronaldo and how he's taking multiple naps in the day. What are your thoughts? Are you getting 8 hours? Are you napping? Give us some insight. This seems to be a big topic these days.
Yep. I sleep with a mask, right?
Mm,
And either I have my mask has headphones in it, or I just turn on the music. So either I'm listening to it. If my wife's doing something, she don't want to hear my 528 vibrations. I'll put it on my mask, but if not, then I'll just play it out loud and put the mask on, and I try to keep it on until I know I'm going to get up. And so that helps me a lot. I do magnesium, melatonin stuff, stuff just something for sleep. I have several different products. I just switch it up,
mm,
and that's really it. So I try to get 7 to 8 hours.
mm,
If I don't get my 8 hours, I usually try to take a nap during the day, especially after legs. I usually take a nap after back. I usually take a nap. But
mm,
most days I just feel good. I don't really get sleepy during the day. But like
mm,
I say, if I'm training hard, like I did back yesterday and we did legs today. I was gonna take a nap, but I knew I had to do this, so I didn't because I didn't want to sleep through it.
mm,
But I just try to make sure I'm recovering from the activity that I'm doing.
mm.
So yeah.
So around the anabolic window of, say, the training, like let's say it's going to be a leg day, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
You're gonna eat like a pretty big meal about an hour before. Is that about right?
Yeah, some days. So like yesterday we did back. I got up and I had oatmeal and a protein shake like hour and a half before the workout.
Mm,
That worked pretty good. Then I use a little bit of pre-workout, non-stim pre-workout,
mm,
some creatine and a couple of pinches of salt.
mm,
Sometimes I squeeze a little lemon in there for flavor. But I
mm.
just sip on that. So I have a big, huge water, and then I have that. So I sip on that for the first, 30 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes of my workout. And then I switch over to the water to finish it off.
Nice. Are you doing any fasted cardio these days?
No, but I'm probably going to start soon. Just because well, I have a stair mill in my garage and the screen broke, so I got to get it fixed. So once I get it fixed, I'll probably be doing 20, 30 minutes in the morning again because I really enjoy it.
Mm,
It kind of like if you do that in the first, and it makes you feel, you know what I'm saying, that feeling of accomplishment or whatever.
mm,
I'd like to be a little leaner at 240. So I think I'm going to have to do that in order to achieve that because I don't want a diet. I like eating. I don't have any diet restrictions. I just make sure it's whole food that's of high quality.
Mm. When you start prepping for this show that you mentioned, are you going to be, what's the cardio going to be looking like? Are you going to be doing an hour in the morning, an hour in the evening, or
Um,
what's,
I haven't really thought about it, but it would probably be more like two or three 20-minute sessions instead of one long session.
mm,
Um, because I'll be doing probably the ketosis style diet.
mm,
So that just that diet by itself gets me lean. So I don't really have some of the same stubborn areas. When I was competing, I never trained glutes.
mm,
So I used to get my glutes used to get lean, but I never trained them, so they weren't really developed.
mm,
And now I'm actually training glutes. So I know now that, I'll probably have striated glutes, at 60 years old because I'm actually training glutes. So,
mm,
but that was really my problem when I was competing. I never really trained them. So
mm.
I relied on the diet and they would come in sometimes and sometimes they wouldn't. But it was, like I say, I know the culprit was the fact that I wasn't training them.
Mm. What about for people out there who are trying to grow a certain muscle group? Like, say, for example, I got small calves and I want
Right.
to, increase my calves. Are you suggesting twice a week to that muscle group? Give us some insight for people out there who want to bring up a certain muscle group.
When you're trying to bring up a lagging body part, you got to give it priority.
Mm,
So if you were trying to grow your calves, I would probably do calves 6 days a week, but not a ton of sets. Probably, I don't know, 2 to 5 sets. Some days high reps, some days low reps. The lower rep days, heavier, are going to probably give you more results as far as getting size. But you want to mix it up and get some high rep days in there as well.
mm,
Like when I was competing, I was trying to be symmetrical from head to toe. So my right arm was half inch smaller than my left arm. I'm left-handed.
mm,
So when I trained arms, I would start with my right hand. If I'm doing like alternate, I would start with my right hand and end with my right hand. You know what I'm saying? So
mm,
I would give extra focus to my weaker side. Same thing with legs. Most people have, maybe a half-inch difference between their right leg and left leg. So if I'm doing lunges, leg extensions, whatever you want to call it, I just put emphasis on the weaker leg. If I'm doing an alternating movement, I just start with the weak leg and I do one extra rep on that weak side. That was kind of like one of my little tricks or whatever.
mm. And so when you're in the gym now, what are you in there for, like 45 minutes to an hour? What's that look like?
No, I'm actually been doing about an hour and a half to 2 hours because I'm training slower. I'm not taking longer rest breaks. I'm dividing my body up. So like I do quads, hams, and glutes.
Mm,
So one day I'll do mostly quads and a little bit of glutes and hams, and then the next time I will do mostly hams and glutes and a little bit of quads. So I'm giving each body part adequate attention, and so the workouts are just longer that way. So I usually do shoulders with a little. So I'll do all my pressing movements on shoulders, and then I'll do only fly movements on chest,
mm,
right? And then the next time I'll do all my pressing movements on chest, and then only laterals on shoulders. I kind of mix it up like that.
mm,
And like I said, because I'm helping someone train for figure, I got to keep her what she's trying to accomplish in mind. So I'm actually focused on what she needs more than what I need. But that's kind of how we divide it up. I like to do buys and tries together,
mm,
just to antagonistically, and yeah. So I'm in there probably about almost 2 hours, but it's just a slower pace than what I'm used to. And she's all natural as well, so I can't really, the intensity has to match her ability to recover. So.
mm. Who inspires you these days?
As far as the new crop or young crop or just
In
period?
general, like who inspires you? Like, is it a David Goggins type of person? Is it a bodybuilder? Is it anybody? Who when you turn on your YouTube or you go to your Instagram or you
So
look at a book or who
so
inspires you?
man, that's a good question. You know, people who are authentic and keep it real, there's so many everybody's out there selling, and I'm not against selling. I'm just saying like some people, Alex Hormozy, he's pretty intense. I like. I'm really trying to make up for the things that didn't put priority in when I was competing. Financial literacy. I'm playing catch up in that, and so I'm learning about trust and taxes and all that type of stuff. So I follow all those guys who do that. I can't even remember half their names, but that's the type of thing. That's the type of stuff that inspires me. So Warren Buffett is born on the same day as me, August 30th, and
Nice.
so he gained most of his wealth after 55. Stuff like that. So I'm trying to, number one, forgive myself for not doing all the things that I should have when I was making all that money.
Mhm.
but now just to be smarter and just to every day, I'm trying to learn. I'm learning how to trade. I'm learning. I learned how to meditate. So just being healthy and trying to live a clean life. Me and my wife, we've been together since '92,
Wow.
so I like to try to, look good for her, and just be a happy person on the inside. That's kind of what I'm doing. I don't
Mhm.
really look to the outside sources, but I do admire a few people, but probably not in the way that most people would. Just, I recognize game. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
I'd be like, okay, like Denzel. Denzel did all he did, and now he's following Christ. He's really like. Um, not trying to be the superstar. he's being the real person that he is, and that type of stuff inspires me.
Mhm. What's your favorite book?
My favorite book. Well, I'll have to go with. I just read it. It's Myron Golden. So Myron
Mhm.
Golden. What is his last book name? It's purple. I can't even remember the name of it. Boss Moves.
Mhm.
Right. So Myron is probably somebody that I watch at least one of his videos every day. And so Boss Moves is probably my favorite book because that's the last one that I read.
Yeah, I've interviewed actually. Myron's come on the podcast. He was very motivational guy. Very
Yeah,
motivational.
Myron, he's lived a similar life to me. He was in network marketing. He went all the way broke and he built it all back. And so he inspires me a lot. A lot of matter of fact, my partner, who's my marketing guy, he's a part of the reason why Myron is doing so well. He helped him with his marketing in the beginning. So
Mhm.
hopefully I have the same. We're working on some really cool stuff. So I don't want to jinx it. I just kind of like get up every day and do my part and watch it develop.
Nice. I know you mentioned briefly there that you do some trading. Do you have a stock that you really like? What do you think about Nvidia, their earnings? You think it's going to be good?
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I sold mine, so I'm gonna have to buy back in on that. My biggest holding is Tesla. I have Palantir as well.
Mm.
Like I said, when I was like COVID, I guess, is when I started really looking into it. So I got a bunch of little small stocks from back then, and like I said, I sold my Apple, I sold my Nvidia, but I need to get it back. I'm into crypto, so I got some coins, and
Mm.
just riding it out, buying a dip and whatnot. So, and really, I wanted to learn how to trade, so when I'm old, I can still make money even if I'm confined to a chair, or you know what I'm saying. Like you can, if you learn how to trade stocks, then you can always do something as long as you got a laptop or phone. So I wanted to learn that, and so I'm doing that.
Nice. What do you think about Ethereum and Bitcoin?
I got a tiny bit of Bitcoin, and I don't have Ethereum. I'm still mad at myself because I remember when Ethereum was $18, and I was going to buy some on my Coinbase, and I couldn't figure it out, and I didn't do it. And
Mm.
so, and then it went up to like, I don't know, it just kept on going up, and I was pissed, waiting for it to come back down, and it
Oh.
never did. So, you know how that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm sticking with, I think XRP is going to be the one.
Mm.
Could be wrong, but I'm listening to the things that's going on as far as the banks adopting it and all that. And if that's going to be the way that money moves, then it's going to be worth something. So.
Nice. Did you have anything else you wanted to chat about today before we wrap up?
I kind of just like talking from my heart and from the hip. I didn't want to like try to plan anything or anything like that.
Mm.
If people want to get in touch with me, they can find me at TFX Man 305 or on Facebook. Like I say, I'm just really trying to do things right. When I was the X Man and Diamond before that, I did whatever I wanted. I lived the life of of a demigod basically, and now I'm serving God, and I just want to do the right things at all times.
Mm. Did you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I mean, what you been up to? How's have you you're basically been very consistent. So I don't
Mm.
know. I didn't hear about any downs or whatever. I'm sure everybody has them, but what I'm saying, you've been very consistent. So I just admire that. And
Mm.
I don't really have any questions, but it was just I'm glad that you actually reached out. It was good. What year was that we were working together? Do you remember? I tried to remember off the top of my head, but I couldn't. But it's
Oh,
been
it's
15
been
years,
like,
right?
oh, it's been about 15 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So probably
Just,
like 2009, 10, somewhere around
yeah.
there. And you all
Yeah.
we're always been cool since we met.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's kind of how I like to stay with people. People I haven't seen in 10 years. I see them. Oh, what's up? You know what I'm saying? So I see that you're doing well. You look good, and you're still rolling with Nutrabolics. So yeah, that's it.
Going on 24 years, bro.
That's what's
20,
up, bro.
right? That's a long
That's what's
time.
up. I remember. So, man, you weren't just starting, but you was in the early stages,
Yeah.
probably. So it's probably been over 15 years that we
Yeah.
connected.
No, I remember because you helped me get ready for that show and I looked great and the judges, they said you look great, but you're just too big. I was too big for physique. But
Oh,
yeah, like I went
yeah,
into physique and they're like, bro, you got to be in bodybuilding. Like you're
yeah,
just like, because I
yeah.
was, I was up to right now I'm 180. I was when I was on stage at like 220.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's too big for physique at
yeah,
your height. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
and
kind of like me wanting to do classic. They all laughed. It was like, "You're gonna need a chainsaw to do classic, bro." so, so yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, listen, hey, thanks for coming on Perform Podcast, Tony. I really appreciate you, man.
Man, this was awesome. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, man. Have a great day.
Likewise, bro. Talk soon.
Thanks.
All right.